On today's Art of Accountability, let's take just a second out here. I was talking to Brian and Shayna, producer and editor of Criminal Thoughts and The Brett Johnson Show. There's a reason that the damn show looks so damn good these days and everything is running along smoothly, and it's not because of me, it's because of them. I told him yesterday or the day before. We had a production meeting, and I made the comment that, hey, you know, I'm actually kind of glad that I did over 100 episodes of podcast before I brought a production team in, because I really do appreciate and understand the amount of work that you guys are doing. I just wanted to give a shout out to Shayna and Brian again. And I also wanted to say, anyone who's watching this, if you're thinking about a podcast, if you're doing a podcast and you're not able to get the edits that you want, or the sound that you want, or the guests that you want, or the vibe or the feel or what have you, please reach out to the Procast team of Shayna and Brian. They do an outstanding job. So that's my plug for the day. You can't beat that. The reason I say that, now, I've done a lot of different shows. I've done the online fraudcast with Carice Hendrick. From there, I went over into the Anglerfish podcast. And then today we've got, the Brett Johnson Show. We've got Criminal Thoughts as well. When I was doing the Anglerfish podcast, the first 17 episodes are basically my story, trying to break it down. And I bring people in to interview that can talk about whatever that subject on my life is at that point in time. The first few episodes, I had my sister Denise talking to me about growing up, about the abuse that we suffered and the types of, the life that we had as children. Long story short, me doing those episodes, it took a mental and an emotional toll, not only on me, but every single person in my environment, my wife, Michele, my two stepsons. As I was going through hell, I was distancing myself from them. It was just a very hard time for everyone in the house. And ultimately, me and Michele, we ended up going to counseling. My stepson, Brendan, he found a Christian counselor, and I'm not Christian. I'm not. I wish I were, but I've got that Langston Hughes problem of, hey, Jesus has just not shown up in the revival tent yet. But I keep looking. We went to this counselor, and the two main takeaways that I got from this counselor is something that I wanted to mention today on the Art of Accountability for this segment. And at one point, this counselor says, he makes a point and he says, hey, is being given birth, your parents bringing you into the world, is that a gift or is that a blessing? And the answer is that it's a blessing. All right. You did not ask to be brought into the world, but you have been given this great blessing of life and this journey to see how things turn out. And the reason that this counselor said that is he followed it up almost immediately by saying, does that mean that when your parents get older, that you are obligated to take care of them? And the answer is no. Now, that may be a hard pill to swallow for some people, because I'm in the South and I'm from Eastern Kentucky. And a lot of the Eastern Kentucky mindset is that you have children and that those children will take care of you once you are old, that they're somewhat obligated for that. But that is not true. And that's something that this idea of accountability, of responsibility, of understanding that you don't have to do anything unless you choose to do it. And this counselor is making this point. Counselor said that, hey, if you decide to take care of those parents at an older age, that is a gift to them. It's something that you don't have to do, but it's something that, hey, if you choose to, it's a gift. And the reason I say this, I was on the Jordan Peterson show, and I'm the idiot. They tell you never to read comments or reviews. I'm the idiot that reads the comments and reviews, and often I will respond to those. Well, there was a person that left a comment on the Jordan Peterson show saying that I should not talk about in a negative way my parents, that that one of the big commandments is honor thy father and thy mother. Turns out I'm a little educated. One of the main reasons that commandment is there is because back in the day, and you can kind of verify this with the story of Moses, back in the day, if you had a child and you did not want that child, what would you do? Well, you would typically put that child in a basket, take it out in the woods someplace, leave it there, and, quote, let God figure out what to do with it. And that's what happens with the story of Moses. They abandon this child. God makes this child into a king. The reason that commandment, honor thy father and mother, is there is that, hey, if your parents keep you, you ought to be honoring them. That's why. My view is that on this planet, we need to be truthful at all times. Truthful to others, truthful to ourselves. If you feel that you're obligated to do something, you're dismissing the power of choice that you have. And that is a very powerful thing. So what I would say, and this is just the first part of what this counselor told me, what I would say is take the time to reflect and then make the decision as to whether you try to help or support your parents once they become of that age. My dad, for example, I was, I took care of my dad the last year of his life. He moved in with me, and it got to the point that I had to bring him every meal, had to help him with the bathroom. After he used the bathroom, I had to clean up after him every single time. Became very frustrating, but looking back, I was honored and grateful to have the opportunity to take care of the man and to help him on his way out. And I really think that I did that to the best of my ability. And that was not because I was obligated to do it. It's because I made the choice to do it. And I think that for those out there who are listening, that this is something that you really need to adopt that mindset. The other thing the counselor said, and this is a longer Art of Accountability segment, but the other thing the counselor said is I told him, I was like, hey, man, I've got 2 stepsons. I don't know how to raise a friggin' kid. And I made the comment, and I'll make that comment today. I've got 2 stepsons, and usually I want to kill them about once a day. That doesn't mean I don't love them, but I still want to kill them about once a day. Well, this counselor, he was like, hey, no one knows how to raise children, but as long as you act in love, you're going to be on the right track. Things are going to be okay. And I think that that not only applies toward raising children, I think it applies toward all of our relationships with our spouses, with our, if you got a girlfriend out there, not only that, but with your peers, with every single relationship that you've got. I think it really, if we can look at just not acting out of anxiety or anger, stress, but just out of love, I think we can't go too far off. And that is today's Art of Accountability.